everyone, my name is Yaya Vargas, and today we are at the National Black Theater for the Silicon Harlem Rethink Everything Conference. This event is all about sharing knowledge and how we can bring more advanced technology into the urban community. So let's get connected and see what's going on. We are here with the CEO of Silicon Harlem, Mr. Clayton Banks. How are you feeling today?
I feel great. We couldn't be more excited. It's going to be a great day for everybody.
Awesome, and this is the 5th year that you're having this conference, which is amazing. How have you seen it grow throughout the years that you've been doing it?
We've seen it grow from a digital literacy perspective. People who come to these conferences are learning. The number of speakers, almost 50 speakers are speaking today. We need to rethink how we're going to connect as a community, how we're going to talk together through media. So everything's going to be examined today by the top minds. We have Dr. Peter Norton here, who's a top mind on urban mobility. We've got people from all over the country. The theme this year is Rethink Everything, because the Internet of Things is going to change the world, and we're on top of it right now so that Harlem and the Bronx and other places will not be left behind.
Where do you see this conference growing into?
Well, we certainly want to replicate it around the country. More people need to have this type of access and exposure to technology, innovation, what we call next generation technology, so that you are no longer trailing when a new thing comes out or a new trend is starting to happen. You are much more on the maker side, not just the consumer side. So we see it as something that becomes international, that is spread all over the country.
Tell us your take on this amazing event.
Well, 5 is an important year for us, and it shows, 1, longevity, staying power, and it's our launch pad. We're really going to focus in on new technologies, but where the community fits into all this. So we're real excited to be able to bring that message to Harlem.
Awesome. And then how does the community fit into new advanced technology and new ways of getting technology into the urban communities?
To just make it very simple, you can't deploy these new technologies unless you think about people first. And from the standpoint of a Harlem, this is an iconic community, so if you can make it work in Harlem, you can make it work anywhere.
Do you gear towards children, schools, or do you go straight to businesses in the Harlem community?
It's broad ranging, but now our programs work as well with schools, as well as with businesses, as well as with some of the larger corporations of the city itself. The population we like to draw to this is community-based, but there's entrepreneurs, there's public officials, there are all sorts of people who represent the full spectrum of the community.
Clayton and Bruce have basically said there are pockets of value that you can find in all different places if you apply tech. I find the very dynamic that they're thinking of absolutely to be true. That it is for everybody, and that because of the uniqueness of Harlem within itself, that there is going to be an ability to create another, if you will, for a moment, another Silicon Valley.
What are you doing alongside with Silicon Harlem to bring this awareness of technology and moving forward into the community?
Yaya, what I do is I talk about it. Those who might come to New York City, Ann Arbor, or Atlanta, and I say, you have to come here to Silicon Harlem.
How do you feel as a woman getting all this advanced technology information out there, not just for the women of our generation now, but for little girls that are growing up, living and learning in this age of technology?
I think that's a great question. I feel really great about it. When I was growing up, there were limited amounts of female, CEO and founder role models. So especially in anything technology related. So it's great to see everything that's booming and shaking now with women being involved in technology.
Tell us about SEAM Social Labs. What's your mission?
Yeah, so we are a group of social researchers, marketers, and strategists dedicated to economic sustainability. So essentially, we provide a marketplace of products and services for community and civic leaders so they can focus on building the cities of tomorrow.
I've been here for the very first technology conference by Silicon Harlem 5 years ago, and I'm from New York. What the brothers and sisters who are part of Silicon Harlem are doing is really important. The world is about the internet. The world is about artificial intelligence, virtual reality. Our children, our entrepreneurs, our business people need to be involved in these technologies. And one of the few places in New York where you can come and see a diversity of people, black, brown, white, all struggling to make sure that it's an inclusive technology, are right here at Silicon Harlem.
Where do you see technology going for the Harlem community and for urban communities outside of New York?
You know, technology is going to become more and more important. With the last 25 years, we've had an internet revolution. It's gone from 14 million people on the internet to 4 billion people on the internet in just 25 years. The next 5 to 7 years, we're going to see over 500 million different instruments connected to the internet. We need to know what's going on with that. We need to understand that wealth is going to be created, how our children are educated, how we take care of ourselves, healthcare. All of that's tied to this revolution, and we need to have a seat at the table.
In the last 5 years, Silicon Harlem has focused on transforming Harlem and other urban markets into technology and innovative hubs to fully engage in the digital economy.
I think technology at its best gives us choices, and because technology is proliferating, it can give us even more choices, and so I think that's a good thing. I think we sometimes forget that technology gives us choices. There's a tendency, for example, among some tech marketers to try to tell us that the tech will make the choices for us, and therefore we don't have anything to choose anymore. But I would like to see all that amazing, wonderful technological creativity give people more and better choices and not just whatever is being packaged and sold to us.
I think what Silicon Harlem is doing is amazing, kind of bringing the messages, bringing in really great thought leaders in a space to talk about the issues so that we could kind of commune together and figure things out and get the right ears to actually listen to what we have to say so we could make progress.
I think it's time for people to take a voice. You know, if you have a smartphone, you have access to so much information. With social media, the best part is it gives everyone a voice and everyone a way to connect. So if you're in an urban neighborhood and you're watching this video, I really suggest that you get out, take action, and become part of the movement.
Each of my panelists were talking about all no-fee-based knowledge-sharing programs that we each have available to everyone, either at the private level or at the enterprise level.
How is MasterCard working closely with Silicon Harlem with bringing new technology into urban communities?
So this has always been critical to MasterCard. It's not just the case of what are we doing in Silicon Harlem. We look at global initiatives. We look at how we're bringing financial inclusion in globally. We look at how do we do inclusion. We look at things like, what about the communities where they don't have basics like electricity? How are we working with things like that? So it's a much bigger task. We are all about creating better environments, better ecosystems, and getting people to live up and become the best possible person that they could be.
What does it mean for T-Mobile to be a part of such an amazing event like this?
We love at T-Mobile being part of this. Silicon Harlem's a great organization that's making people kind of think bigger, think beyond. The theme of this year's conference is Rethink Everything. We at T-Mobile love to rethink everything. You know, we've done a lot of things to not only rethink our company, but rethink our industry. You know, we've eliminated contracts, we've brought video, we've made unlimited a standard. So we're all about challenging the status quo, and I think that's what Silicon Harlem is about as well.
Well, especially for the urban markets, what is T-Mobile as a corporate citizen doing to bring this education of technology and moving forward into urban markets, such as Harlem and potentially internationally?
Well, T-Mobile now is a national powerhouse. We started in New York, and our best markets were Brooklyn, Bronx, and Harlem. So this is where we started before we had cell sites all over the country. We realize that, we know that, and we're bringing 5G back here. Now 5G is going to change everything, right? 5G opens up a world of opportunity. Very, very high-speed data with low latency will bring up applications that we've never even dreamed of.
We're glad to be participants and sponsors of today's event. We have worked with Silicon Harlem over the last year, partnering on different issues that impact the community, whether it's digital divide, whether it's access to broadband. You know, we are working to make sure that communities like Harlem have the access that they need to succeed in the tech world. Increasingly important to educate the market about the importance of broadband, about the access to the gig economy that so many of us don't have access to, and Black and brown communities, and so it's important that we bring communities like Silicon Harlem, who respected in the community, respected within the business world, and can bring the type of businesses to the community to recruit, to educate, and to inform.
Hope you learned a lot today at the Silicon Harlem Rethink Everything conference, because I know I did. And if you'd like to know more about what Silicon Harlem is doing in the urban communities, check out their website, siliconharlem.net. I'm your girl, Yaya Vargas, here for urbanlatino.com, the culture, the movement.